Let me take an opportunity to welcome you back to Florida. There's still some controversies around here.
There always is, Gordon.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's great to be back, you know. As I said before, the competition's right here.
Well, there's no question about that. You know, Kevin, there's something that does disturb me just a little bit, though. As you know, Steve Kern was here recently, and Steve Kern sent a message back that I'd like to air at this time, and I particularly would prefer to have you hear this.
I'd like to hear it, too.
All right, let's go to Lance Russell now and Steve Kern and listen to these comments, and listen very, very carefully.
Thank you, Gordon. Finally, we're delighted to be standing here with a guy that we're tickled to death to see back in the Mid-South area. He's one of the great Florida products, and Steve Kern, welcome back. We're glad to have you again.
Appreciate it, Lance. I'm glad to be back. You know, while I was down in Florida, I was very successful. I teamed up with Mike a few times while I was down there, and I was in a couple singles. And I got to see a lot of the old fans and the old friends that I've had for a long time, and it felt really good to be back there. But I still, even though I'm back here now, I want everybody to know I've got an open contract for Kendo Nagasaki or for King Kong Tonga, either as singles or as a tag team with my partner Mike Graham. And speaking of Mike Graham, you know, Kevin Sullivan was a tag team partner of Mike Graham's at one time, just like I was. And Mike Graham and I and Kevin have all hung around together at one time. But I know that Barry Windham had some comments about Kevin Sullivan, and I just want to tell Mike, as a personal message to him, that to watch out for Kevin Sullivan. He's not the same man he used to be, I can tell you as a fact. Take heed to what Barry Windham says, because it's right on the line, brother.
Okay, Steve.
Kevin, all I can say is I certainly want you to be able to retort to that.
Well, I want to say this, Gordon. You know, it's hard to have friends in the wrestling business because we all have the same goal in mind, and that's to get to the top. And I got to say this about Steve Kern. That's what a real friend is. Him and Mike Graham are like this. And I have to admire Steve Kern for sticking by and wanting to tell Mike that Barry's right because I've changed. If Steve was here, I'd like to apologize to him because, as I said before, in the past I made mistakes. Hey, I'll be the first one to admit it, Steve. And it just so happened that when I was going through a personal trauma in my life, it had to be you. And I'm sorry. And Barry, you come out here and say the same thing. Let it lie, man. Hey, the past is the past. I'm going to go out here and give 150%. If you don't want to be my friend, that's fine, because I'm going to be your friend. And Mike Graham and I are that close. And I admire Steve Kern, and let me tell you something. Kern, myself, and Graham, we're thicker than that. And if I could get to Steve one time and just talk to him, I know that he'd accept my apology.
Well, Kevin, Gordon, let me interrupt here for a second, if you don't mind. You know, Kevin, I've never met you before. You've been here for about 2.5, 3 weeks. And let me tell you, this man here has taught me more about physical fitness, nutrition, and wrestling than anyone I've met in quite some time. And it's very beneficial to me as a young wrestler. And I'd just like to welcome you here, and I'm glad to have you aboard.
Hey, thanks, kid. This is what I'm talking about. There's guys like this in Florida. This is the cream of the athletes. Don't worry. Everything's going to be okay.
Okay, well, that certainly relieves my mind considerably, too, and